They are all leading international experts in their respective fields. They are all contributing to humanity's progress worldwide and now in China. They are all aligning their vision with China's future. They are all here on My China.
Beijing Foreign Studies University, as China's preeminent center of language learning, teaches 72 foreign languages, more than any other educational institution in China. The BFSU's German department is a state-level key project.
你说folgen Sie der Straße，你跟着这条路走就行了。folgen Sie der Straße.
The man teaching German is Patrick Kühnel. He's fluent in several foreign languages, among them Chinese. He even has a Chinese name, Li Ke. Patrick has been teaching German at BFSU since 2010, when he was sent under a program sponsored by the DAAD, the German Academic Exchange Service. This semester, Patrick's main duties are teaching German composition and oral communication to second-year undergraduates. He also gives a course in simultaneous interpretation to postgraduate students. He is a strong believer in the use of teaching aids. In his next class, he will be teaching his students how to ask for directions in German.
I'm actually preparing a jigsaw puzzle. You know, for my students, we're having our next lesson will be about how to ask the way in German. So I thought to make it more interesting, and as an introduction, I decided to make a jigsaw puzzle for the class. I'm going to divide the class into 4 or 5 groups, and each group is given a jigsaw puzzle made of a city map of the city of Passau. This is my city in Germany, where I come from. And I thought this would be a good orientation for the students, because many of them, they will join an exchange program next year, and they will spend 1 year in Germany, part of it in Göttingen, another fraction in Passau. And so I thought, apart from studying the language, it would be a good opportunity if they could have a glimpse into the city itself, learn a bit about the culture, learn a bit about surrounding, about the environment, and get a brief orientation. So yeah, this is what I'm doing now, and as you can see, it's quite a lot of work for just for 1 hour of teaching. I'm trying to win the contest anyway. Probably not the most beautiful jigsaw puzzle in the world, but I hope it will serve its purpose. 这是什么东西啊？这个是帕绍的地图，你知道吗？帕绍地图。
知道呀，
我把它
3条河的汇合的地方是。
就是，我就把它就是准备给他们学生做一个那个拼图，一个做完了是第2个，还有3个。
学生肯定会喜欢，因为我有一次给他们上那个各种各样的那个游戏嘛，反正我觉得他们还挺。
他们还是比较小。
我们不是一直有这个外教嘛，就是 DAAD 是就德国那个派来的，但是我们这么多年就是第一个有会讲中文的就德国专家，那 像李老师的话，就是我们交流起来很方便，就是我们中文、德文都可以交流。另外就是，其实学生也挺开心，因为学生在刚学德语中间，肯定有些话，肯定用德语也讲不周全。跟我们学生写的作文就有很多就中式的德语，让一个纯粹的一个德国人没有中文的背景，他可能不知道他要讲什么东西。像李老师的话，就看知道，我们还知道他为什么写这个事情，为什么会用错，用到这个字啊没用对，就他跟中文是有点关联的，就可以给你解释清楚。我觉得现在就比较有优势嘛，这样。
My colleagues, they're all great teachers. They're very experienced. When you talk to your colleagues, you get a different perspective on the students, on the manuals we're using, on the materials. I gain a lot of insights, not only into university life, but also in Chinese society. So this is really valuable. I learn a lot from them.
Once a week, Patrick takes a class in undergraduate composition and oral communication. The class begins with him returning the students' homework and commenting on their efforts.
你们要是描述一个人的话，一定要说是谁。谭丽丽，是你现在的老师吗？
高中的。
高中的老师，那你应该用那个过去式。我还想了半天，他说的谁是谁，不认识吗？徐。哎，你写的很好，但是跟我们的作业没有什么关系。你写了一个很有意思的故事，你注意，老刘，你写的还可以 ，good。现在自己看一下德语怎么纹路。我先考验一下你们的那个语感。我现在用不同的语言写一句话，让你们猜一猜是什么意思。駅へはどう行ったらいいですか？什么意思？意味は何ですか？わかる？
到车站怎么走？
Sehr gut。到火车站怎么走？
Patrick himself has a degree in linguistics. Sometimes in class, he expresses a simple idea in several languages. He wants to stimulate the students' curiosity and interest. He believes that showing them how German differs from other languages improves their understanding of German vocabulary and grammar.
那么土耳其语这个 gitmek， 也包括这个日语这个 iku， 法语这个 alle， 汉语这个走去，韩国语这个 kada， 它们都是去的意思。Es gibt also nur die zwei Möglichkeiten, entweder ankommen， 就是到达，或者往那个方向去走。但是德语比较例外，德语你要是问这句话的时候，你两个都不用，你用的是第三个，是什么 ？kommen。你不会说 Wie gehe ich zum Bahnhof？ 你应该说 Wie komme ich zum Bahnhof？ 一直走 ，geradeaus。这个是什么意思？沿着走，沿着这条河走，den Fluss entlang gehen。
Armed with this knowledge, the class practiced asking for directions in the city of Passau. Patrick has built up a very strong relationship with his students. However, when he first came to teach here, he found it very tough.
It was very embarrassing for me at the beginning. I remember the first time I came into class, students were sitting there, and I had prepared, of course, my class, and so I told them what we will do this semester. No reaction, no response. Everybody looking at me, but no response. And I said, do you have any other suggestions? Of course they didn't. But something is wrong here. I had no clue, they wouldn't tell me. So it was very hard for me at that time. I even cried, you know. I came home and I said, I want to go home, I don't want to stay here. I don't know what to do with them. I just entered the class and there's just this wall of silence in front of me. So what do you do with them? What do you do now?
As the teacher, it was up to him to break the ice.
I decided first class, I won't do any teaching. I've just asked any student about him or herself. Tell me a little about where she or he comes from, what his hobbies are, and one by one. And after that, I asked them to write a question they want to ask me. And I told them, you can ask me anything. I probably won't answer, but still, you can try. And I've started to taking pictures of all of the students, you know, with their name cards in front of them, so I can remember them. I can study them at home, and this makes it easier to get acquainted with them.
他第一节课，让我们每个人写了自己的名字，然后每个人带着名字、带着脸给我们拍了相片。然后我觉得这个老师他特别想了解我们，然后差不多第二节课，他作为一个外国人就能知道我们所有人的名字了，特别认真、特别细心的一个老师。
70块。
And so, it's time for the jigsaw puzzles to come out, and for the students to practice asking for directions by piecing together the picture of puzzle.
从边上开始 genau.
啊，我刚才看到了一个，不知道。
我觉得这堂课是非常实用的。如果我明年去帕少的话，我觉得这堂课会对我很有帮助的。
那每一节课都会给我们带来不同的惊喜，提起兴趣，然后这个拼图的方式我们也是第一次接触，对这些路道的熟悉，然后他们刚才给我推荐那个什么有趣的地方，就是一定要去参观的，那我觉得也是非常有用的帮助，语言知识也在同时积累，我觉得非常全面。
I think studying language is very hard, to me, too. You have to start immersing yourself into a different language. Apart from the language, apart from, you know, vocabulary and grammar and all that stuff, you have to learn that. And you have to, of course, you have to pass your exams and all that. But apart from that, I really want them to understand that in real life, not at the university, in real life, it's very important that you are flexible, that you are able to really distinguish between studying and learning. But I think this is very important, because you can study without learning. This is wasting effort. And you can learn without studying, by experiencing. And I want my students to experience both of them. They are learning and studying. This is also something that I want to teach my students. Was glauben Sie, welcher Fluss hat mehr Wasser?
Donau.
Falsch. Der Inn hat eigentlich mehr Wasser. Hey, sehr gut. Ach, geben Sie mir bitte das, ja. Herr Mach. Dankeschön.
They are all aligning their vision with China's future. They are all here on My China.
Combining study with practice, Patrick often takes the students off campus. Today, they're going to an art exhibition to practice interpretation.
你们先熟悉一下这个环境啊，可以自己提前选出几个作品，你们认为值得参观、值得解释、值得讲。我也不是个专家，我就是讲。Translating, interpreting in class, and on the spot, on the job, this is quite a different experience. And students, they have confirmed that. So this is why I'm doing that. Yeah, I have divided the students into different groups. They are responsible for different fields of art. Some students will be responsible for painting, others for sculpture and photography and so on. And after that, each group consists of 2 students, and I will be pretending to be an art expert, asking some more or less useful questions, and hope the students will translate them for me. I think both of us, students as well as me, we can learn something from that today. Also, kann das mal. Ist das Öl oder ist das Acryl?
这是油画还是用丙烯画的？这个是油画。Das ist Öl.
Also hier sieht man ja gut, ne? Sie hat ja den Fokus im Vordergrund. Der Hintergrund ist verschwommen so. wie eine Fotografie, nicht?
而且一幅画焦点在前面，然后后面的背景都是模糊的，所以就看起来非常像一幅摄影作品。
神就是一个黑暗的东西，所以它只能反映出周围的世界。
Schauen Sie mal, die Glühbirne ist ganz allein an die Wand gehängt und das sieht auch ein bisschen ähnlich wie ein Flugmaus aus. So, das
刚才学生翻译，其实我觉得都还算蛮流利的，因为本身作为国际专译人的，我也是常常会需要做一些翻译的工作。但是以学生来讲，我觉得他们的程度、流利度其实算很好的。
这就是实地的训练，然后跟课堂上坐在教室里翻译还是不一样的，还是会有点紧张。我觉得以后还要尽量的多去这样的场合来练习一下，然后锻炼一下心理素质。
这种艺术品呢，它离我们的学习，就是说在校期间这学习其实比较远，它是一个对于我们来讲比较陌生的领域。但恰恰这个领域虽然很陌生，但是在以后的工作的之中却很实用。因为展会翻译是一个翻译之中一个很大的门类，我觉得帮助很大，而且能积累一定的经验，是启发挺大的。
他当时那个信息有点长，
就是这个问题啊！你别让他那么那么啰嗦的说，哎，他想把所有的信息一下就给你冒出来的话，那个太多了嘛，放慢一点，不要说那么多一下子，就是这个是比较随便的一个谈话的方式。这样的话，你可以就是他说两句，你翻译两句，我说一句，你就翻译一句，就这样的。Yeah, I think it's all right. I think they performed quite well, but you could feel that they're not really experienced. Sometimes they would have to interrupt the speakers. Otherwise, the part they have to do is too long, so they can't remember all the information, and some of the information gets lost during the process. And so we have to go over it again and to repeat it. This leaves a bad impression on the speaker. But generally speaking, I would say I'm quite satisfied. 好，行，那我们你们找我下一次上课的时候啊，想起什么问题的时候，我们就可以下次再讨论啊。好，那。
Patrick lives with his family in an apartment on campus. His 2 children have grown up in China. His son goes to a local primary school and his daughter attends a kindergarten. When he has no classes, he spends most of his day marking his students' homework and preparing for classes. In the late 1990s, Patrick spent 2 years studying Chinese at Ludong University in Shandong. It was there that he met his wife, Gai Wenqing.
这个写的也不错，是吧？
他写的还可以。
我们在一起快18年的时间了。如果回想一下的话，我觉得最让我感动和挺值得珍惜的经历是从有了2个孩子开始。有老大的时候呢，1月底出生的，正好是赶上在德国是冰天雪地的时候。他能够为了让我坐月子期睡点觉，他就是比如说这次给孩子喂完奶，差不多在11点左右的时候，他就把孩子给包得严严实实的放在儿童那个小推车里面，他就把他给推出去了，一直推着这个小童车，把帕萨的就我们所住的那个小城市的大街小巷都能走个遍，然后一路上就给孩子唱着歌说着话。晚上他推着孩子回来，都能够看到他的这个头发上啊、胡子上啊，全都是冰碴。他整整坚持了1个多月。然后再就是女儿的出生，因为小女儿出生的时候才1斤9两，早产的原因也就是因为这个肠子没有发育好，所以说刚一出生的时候就开始做了第1次的大手术，住了3个月的院，90多天，我们基本上都是大部分的时间都是在提心吊胆当中度过的，相互之间能够给彼此对方这个支撑的只有我们2个人。现在孩子一切发育也都挺好的，挺健康的时候，我们回过头来再想哈，我觉得我们整个的家庭，我们4个人现在就是非常的开心，凝聚力也非常的强，感情也比以前更加的紧密。
In 2010, Patrick left his teaching post at Passau University to return to China with his family.
有了孩子以后嘛，肯定就是希望孩子能够两种文化都有所接触，包括语言也学习，需要有这个环境进行培养。所以到了2010年，正好这个德国的这个DAAD 有这样的这种工作的机会的时候，然后李克教授申请的时候就也得到了这个机会，我们全家就借着这个机会就搬到了中国。
But neither Patrick nor Wen Qian in Beijing before.
刚来的时候，的确是对我们一家来说，其实都是一个挺大的挑战，就一切都是好像比较杂乱一些。但是好在是我自己的国家嘛，慢慢的好像会帮助你很快的进入这样的一个状态。对于教授来说，同事之间非常的友好，有什么变化大家就相互沟通，慢慢的一点一点的，就是说适应了在中国的这种生活的状态。
I've noticed that life in China can become very frustrating because if you make plans for the future, you know, they cannot keep up with the changes. Very often, things don't work out the way you had anticipated, very often. So, living in China for many years and studying Chinese has taught me how to become more present, how to increase awareness. You know, probably you know that, like in Germany, like in many other Western countries, we're used to making plans for the future and looking back, reviewing our mistakes and our achievements. But all of this takes us away from the present moment, you know, because we're comparing it to what has been and what might become. Both are not real, you know. So, and the problem is for many Westerners how to deal with that. And I have found, like, probably the best way for me is you keep your plans, your concepts, your ideas in mind, but at the same time you stay present here. You are aware. You're just observing. You accept, and probably not thinking too much, and have confidence that things somehow they will turn out you want them to.
They are all aligning their vision with China's future. They are all here on My China.
Tous amants sont faits du bruit. Elle met la face sur.
With his life and work now firmly on track, Patrick could develop his interest in China. He has written several books on Chinese and German linguistics, and also translated and proofread many books and documents about China. He has also worked hard to promote bilateral relations between his home and adoptive countries. During a vacation in Germany, he and his wife established the Sino-German Association in Passau with the aim of helping people in the city learn more about China. In a 2014 speech on behalf of the expat staff at the Beijing Foreign Studies University, Patrick said, "If Passau University in Germany is my alma mater, then the BFSU is my alma pater."
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. So I would say we would be interested to increase the number of Chinese, and the subsequent master is to the He implanted the idea to improve relationships, and my former vice president, Professor Hao, followed his call, if you wish, and visited the BFSU 2 years ago, a little more than 2 years ago. And from that point on, we could talk about student exchange, maybe joint programs in the future, and the like. And so Patrick was again, he was one of the key people. He was the brass at the BFSU.
I found that actually both universities, Passau University and BFSU, they are a perfect match in a way. You know, they have a very similar profiles. That is, they have they are specialized on cultural and language studies on the one hand, but they also have a very strong Department of Business Studies. So I thought this is a very good opportunity for both sides to cooperate not only in one field but in various fields at the same time.
我有一次去德国，他就问我说：“你不可以跑到帕萨来去给我们做一个报告？”到那里就非常受感动，他有非常多的对中国有兴趣的人，希望去了解中国。那他就借用这样的机会，能够让来自中国的人给在帕萨对中国感兴趣的人一些最一手的这种信息，然后和他们进行交流。那这些事情其实也不见得是任何一个人都愿意做，或者是说觉得自己应该做的。但他那时候虽然人已经不在帕萨，他人已经在北外教书，但他仍然惦记着这些事情，自己来主动安排这些事情。他也是我们这个中国的女婿，他的确是把中德相互之间的这种合作当成了一个自己心上的一件事情。
Having lived in Beijing for so many years, Patrick and his family have made many friends in the local community. It's a fine autumn weekend, and they take the opportunity to meet some friends in the park.
我们两家会经常带着孩子到公园里来玩。刚开始就是接触的时候，一开始以为他会有隔阂，他毕竟是一个外国人。但是接触一段时间，发现他这个人非常的风趣幽默。
特别荣幸能成为他们的朋友。之前我觉得德国人做事情嘛非常严谨，可是真正在玩的时候，实际还是挺放松的。可以有错误，可以非常放开的随便谈，但是能感觉到彼此非常真实，就像一个一见如故的老朋友，觉得特别的自然真诚。
Somehow it seems like that China has changed the course of my life, my career, my personal life. Of course, my wife is Chinese. My children, they've grown up here in China. It seems like that everywhere I go, not only in China, but China seems to be following me. I could observe myself, growing into a sort of a Chinese character. You cannot learn Chinese without becoming a little Chinese. Even a friend of mine once said, "You are, because of my beard." He said, "You're a Chinese with hormone problems." You can't really make plans for the future. There's a possibility that I continue my stay in China if they want me, but anyway, no matter where I am, in Germany, in China, or in a different country, I think I would still be working on that, relationship between Germany and China, because I think this is very valuable for both sides, and somehow it seems to be my fate.